Hello, welcome everybody back to the Insider Galaxy podcast. I am your host, Eric Hernandez, as always. The Galaxy bounced back with a big win in Vancouver, winning 3-1 against the Vancouver Whitecaps. We're going to talk about that game, give our thoughts, our opinions about this game and what this game means for the Galaxy now. Some might say it could be another needle mover for this game. So we'll talk about just the specifics about this game, how it went through, and of course, just all the good stuff that you want to hear. Of course, we got some Galaxy news to talk about here, and we have a preview for the Cali Clasico, number 100 for the Cali Clasico. A good matchup going in this Sunday for the LA Galaxy at home. So we're going to talk about that, preview that Cali Clasico. And yeah, I mean, it should be a good conversation overall. Glad you're here with us. And of course, with me as always is my co-host, LA Galaxy Central. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's definitely a really good time to be a sports fan right now, just in any sport, right? You have the NBA playoffs coming up, the NHL playoffs coming up. You're deep in the Champions League right now with the UEFA Champions League, the CONCACAF Champions League. When we recorded today, we got two major upsets. Bayern Munich beating Arsenal, which a lot of people didn't expect, and Real Madrid going past Man City, which definitely a lot of people didn't expect, including myself. So two good upsets today. Obviously, the Galaxy got a really good win over the weekend. So a lot of really good sports right now, a lot of really good things going on, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. A lot of good sports coming up. Obviously, baseball. Before we even recorded, we were talking about sports betting, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of good things in sports going on this week and, around this time. So it should be good. Playoff hockey's almost starting. NBA, the playoffs are starting pretty soon as well. Or actually, they started already, too. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff with sports. And of course, there's MLS soccer and there's LA Galaxy soccer, which we got to talk about the big win this week, which, like I said, was a 3-1 win against the Vancouver Whitecaps, where you had goals by Joseph Paintstill, Dejan Joveljic, and Diego Fagundes in this match. So, of course, yeah, it was a good bounce-back win for the Galaxy. Of course, when you look at this game, especially in the first half, which I guess we should split the halves, because they were kind of different in a sense for both in this game. So obviously the first half ended off 0-0. Some might say was kind of boring in the first half. Some might say that it just wasn't the best. It wasn't that anybody was terrible. It wasn't that, one was dominating the other. Well, I guess you could say the Galaxy wasn't possession wise, which they've been good, for the most part. But overall, the first half was kind of a bit stale at 0-0. There was some opportunities, but really nothing much going on in the first half. So I guess let's talk a little bit about the first half first before we get into the second half where we saw the goals. But how'd you feel about the Galaxy, at least in the first half? And, what were your thoughts going up against Vancouver?
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed the first half. I think they did a really good job setting the tone. I think they had a lot of control of the match. Something different from the LAFC game was I feel like they attacked with a purpose. There was actually movements in the attack. There was a purpose in the attack. The attack looked very threatening. We looked like a better unit together. It just felt like we were more threatening overall. We were posing more of a threat. We were creating chances. And it felt like in the second half, if we just keep creating these chances and keep getting the ball to where it needs to be, eventually we could find the back of the net. And that's what we did eventually. But I actually enjoyed that first half. It felt like we were threatening and it felt like we were more involved in the game than we were the previous week.
Well, boy, not a lot of people did not feel the way that you did, but I see the points that you're saying. Like, obviously, yeah, I don't think like I said, I don't think either team played bad in the first half. It was just really that I guess there wasn't as many opportunities in a sense in the first half, but I think both teams played well. Obviously, for Vancouver, they got an early injury with Fafa Peacock going out in the 16th minute, which kind of was a big blow for Vancouver. Once that happened, but I mean, overall in the first half, yes, I think there was a lot of movement. Of course, the possession game was great for the Galaxy, and I think a lot of people say it was boring or wasn't as good just because of the fact that you didn't really get to see the goal or a goal in that first half, which I guess was a bit disappointing. But I mean, I see where you're coming from because it was good. It was good for the Galaxy. I think I enjoyed a lot of their, the way they were going in tactically and just the tone that they were setting. Like you said, the tone that they were setting was good for this game. Going into Vancouver, into their home, which again is a tough thing to do, to go into someone's house and then set the tone. But of course, yeah, you didn't really get to see the goal in this one, but second half, that's where it all changed. Of course, you got to see the first goal, which was by Dejan Joveljic, a simple tap in, which again, he gets his sixth goal on the season, which already ties for last year, right? He had 6 goals last year, and now he got 6 goals within 8 weeks. So obviously a big turnaround for Dejan at least this season. So you got to see that. Of course, you got to see a lot of good, Ricky Pooch magic in this one, where you got to see the through ball to Joseph Paint. Still, he ends up getting a goal, and then substitute wise, you got to see Diego Fagundes go in and get his 70th goal. But second half was definitely where you got to see the goals, where you got to see the production from the Galaxy pay off at least. So yeah, I mean, obviously second half you got to see more. And how'd you feel about just the overall, I guess, performance just in the second half and how they just managed to finally get those goals?
I mean, before we get to the second half, I want to get back to the first half. And I don't understand how people wouldn't be happy about the first half, because I think we really did a good job on the road, setting a tempo, playing really well, taking control of the ball early on, really dictating the way we wanted to play. And doing that on the road and going into halftime 0-0, where you created some opportunities, you got into dangerous positions, you looked threatening. I mean, I didn't really see any people unhappy with that first half. I don't know what you saw. Maybe it was a little different. You saw some different interactions, but it seemed like people were kind of happy with the first half. Maybe, yes, a little disappointing we didn't find that first goal. But still, that first half, I think we played really well, and we really set a tone that game. And doing that on the road, you have to be happy with it. I don't think there was really much displeasure with that first half, really.
Well, I mean, yeah, but obviously, what I see on the internet and what you see on the internet, maybe, yeah, completely different. But at least that's what I saw. But again, I don't think it was disappointing, or I don't think it was a bad first half or anything like that. But I think, yeah, maybe it was just disappointing because you got to see those chances and then you didn't get to see the goal. And so I think that's where I think a lot of people were disappointed. But again, I don't think they played bad in the first half. I don't think that, Vancouver was, dominating them or getting outplayed in the first half or anything like that. And no, I think the Galaxy came in with the right mindset, the right tone to set that game, and especially against a very difficult place to play and against a really good team. Because I mean, Vancouver was first place in the West going into that game. Some people say, oh, they had a weak schedule and things like that, but at the end of the day, they're in that position for a reason. They got to play what they got to play, and they were a good team. They're still a good team. I think they're going to do good this season, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the first half, I don't think it was disappointing. Like, it was just bad. But I guess some people were just disappointing. You didn't get to see the final product with those goals. Because I mean, I think at the end of the first half, there was the Galaxy had 75% possession, and then Vancouver had 15. So it's I think when people saw that, it was well, we're playing all this possession, but we don't have a goal. So I guess that's where people were kind of just maybe a little bit frustrated with. But again, that's just kind of looking at how that was. But again, I don't think it was bad from the Galaxy in that first half. I mean, you clearly saw that they did a good job, or at least set a good tone going into that game. So, I mean, I don't know. Some people just have their decisions or their opinions, I guess. And sometimes, we get emotional, and sometimes those emotions get to the best of us, and then we kind of have those weird opinions. But I don't know. That's just what I saw.
I mean, look, it's a 90-minute game. You don't want them forcing opportunities, right? Yeah, they could have been maybe a little more assertive in the first half. Maybe could have gotten one goal, been up 1-0, but kind of like what happened with LAFC, you felt like they were forcing it a little bit, trying to do a little bit too much. As some people would say, I guess, hero ball from Ricky Pooch. Maybe it was good in the first half. They just were a little more patient, understood, hey, this is a 90-minute game. We can go into halftime 0-0 on the road. That's still a good result. And then the second half, we can create some more opportunities. And if the right one comes, we know we have the quality to take it. So you can also look at that from a positive, that we weren't forcing things either, and we kept control of the game.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Obviously, yeah, you got to set a tone, but that setting a tone doesn't mean, scoring 3-0 in the first half. Obviously that's a good tone setter, but that's not always. Yeah, but it's not always the situation of setting the tone. Setting the tone is, again, what the Galaxy did, having most of the possession, controlling most of the game, and ultimately getting some chances in the first half. And then in the second half, you got to see that those chances end up being goals. And you look at the first goal, like you said, it's it was just being patient, trying to find the right opportunity, the right chance. Look what happened. Dejan was in the right spot, right time, and he gets his 6th goal. So and then that's where it kind of just started going off from there. And then you got that goal, then you got the Joseph Paintsel goal, and then of course you got Diego Fagundes getting the third goal, in the last moments of the game. So, I mean, yeah, it was just being patient with it, obviously not being too frustrated about it, because we've talked about this team being, I guess, emotional in years. And I think, in the difference between this year is that this team has found a way to keep those emotions in check, not be too over emotional or be too frustrated at times. And yeah, I mean, obviously they were patient with it, and you got to see in the second half that's where they, got to do all the work, and they sealed the 3 points then and there.
Yeah, definitely. And now let's talk about the second half now that we recapped the first half a little bit. The second half obviously was really good. I just felt like we did more of the same things, but we took our chances that came along. We still kept a lot of the ball. We were still stringing together a lot of passes. We looked really good. And then those opportunities came, like you said. Gabriel Peck played really well. He creates a shot for not for Joseph Panza, for Dejan Joveljic, and he's wide open. He taps it in. It's a good finish. And then, we concede that set piece goal. That's very unfortunate. We're going to probably talk about that a little bit. That can't be happening. It's still a problem. But then, hey, it's like in 3 minutes, and then we're up 3-1 again. We get that amazing Ricky Puig pass to Joseph Painsil. That was really good. To go up 2-1 again, you felt like, hey, can we hold on to 3 points now? And then Diego Fagundes, like a minute or two later, scores, what would be the closing goal. And that was a really good team goal, too. And, you saw the offense, like, yet again, have the short period of time where they can score multiple goals, which is always going to be able to keep you in games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, for sure. Like, that's the good thing about this Galaxy team is that, and again, I talked about the being emotional. And once you saw a set piece goal, again, scored by Vancouver, usually when you look at seasons before or last season, you say like the Galaxy would kind of maybe collapse a little, again, be more frustrated. But no, I mean, again, they go in and they have this mentality, and we talked about killer mentality before this season, and they say, and I feel like that's the mindset that they sort of have or want to achieve, is a killer mentality. And again, they go in and right away they score, and then what do they do a couple minutes later? They even score again, and that's something that, like, I think, and for example, I guess like my dad would always preach, I guess, every time as like a fan or even when he was coaching, it was just like, hey, like if you score a goal, like let's not stop there, let's run it up, like let's keep it going, even like let's keep creating these chances. And even late in the game, they were still making those chances, and I think that's where the Galaxy in a sense, like they're not letting these teams like away so easily. It's like, all right, we scored a 1 goal, or you got that 1 goal to tie it up. All right, then we're gonna go score 2 more, just so that doesn't happen again. So, I mean, yeah, in the second half it was good. Obviously, you got to see a lot of players, do good. Step it up. Of course, Ricky Puig had a bounce back game, which again we'll talk about players in a bit. But yeah, I mean, of course, he had a bounce back game, and you got to see a lot of production from the DPs and from the midfield. And yeah, I mean, of course, that's where I guess you got to see more of the execution in the second half that people were, I guess, wanting in the first half. But at the end of the day, you got that execution in the second half, and you get the 3 points, so that's good overall. Obviously, we got another set piece goal. I mean, this there's always one thing, and I feel like that when we always do like a season, there's always one thing that keeps recurring every week on the podcast or in a new episode. And I guess, set pieces is going to be that thing this year where we're going to keep talking consistently until it gets figured out, or hopefully gets figured out at some point. Yeah, we get another set piece goal on that one. Honestly, like I said, we talked about this multiple times, but how do you feel about that? Just getting another one against Vancouver, which, by the way, we had Alex Rickman last week saying like, hey, don't worry about it. Vancouver's not good on set pieces, and they still managed to get a goal. How do you feel about all that?
I mean, they only scored on 1 out of 10 set pieces, so I guess he was kind of right. A 10% conversion rate isn't exactly that good, but still another set piece goal against the Galaxy. You never want to see that, but it's funny enough, you can kind of compare the set pieces to our medical staff, right? Like when we had 2 to 3 injuries, we were saying like, oh, it's bad luck. Like this is unlucky. It can hopefully turn around. It's not that big of a deal. But when we were starting to get like 7 to 8 injuries, we were starting to say like, hey, this is not just bad luck anymore. This is your fault now. This is a problem going on. This needs to get fixed. Similar thing with the set pieces. Like you can see 2 or 3 set piece goals up to this point. We'd probably be saying, oh, just bad luck. Maybe the ball took a deflection. Maybe the attacker did a good job. Maybe it was just unlucky positioning or whatever. But now that we've conceded 6 or 7 set piece goals, you're saying now, hey, there's a problem here. We need to wake up. There's actually like something serious going on. It's not just bad luck anymore. We have a serious problem defending set pieces. And even on that one, that was just terrible defending from the LA Galaxy. Last year, Brian White led the league in headed goals. And guess who Brian White was on him to have to beat? Diego Fagundes. I mean, that's just completely unacceptable. And when I was watching that back, I was just watching Maya Yoshida. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like Maya Yoshida is by far and away our best set piece threat, both on offense and defense, getting him away. I mean, I just didn't understand why Maya Yoshida wasn't on Brian White, because that's the matchup it needs to be. The fact that Brian White was on Diego Fagundes is just, that can't happen at all. That cannot happen. You know, you got the 2 goals after that. It was a really good clicking from the offense after that set piece goal. So you got the 3 points there. But again, like I said in previous weeks, you know, set pieces are a way for us to drop points against basically anybody, because set pieces are very accessible to anybody. And you felt like watching that game, there was no reason that game should have ever been tied either. And yeah, I mean, we have to get better at this. It's not bad luck anymore. There's a real problem going on. We have to get our matchups right. We have to be able to just defend better. There's no other way around it. Set pieces are a big deal, and they're going to cost us points if we don't, you know, figure it out eventually how to get them out.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think, like, you know, obviously, like, maybe like height or size could be, like, the size of our players could possibly be a thing as well? Like, obviously, like Maya Yoshida, pretty tall guy. Martin Cáceres, you know, tallish guy, I guess you could say. Pretty, you know, pretty good fit wise. And then, you know, like we I think we even alluded to this last week. It's like we don't really have that big body guy, or even if we do, they're not maybe the most athletic like big body. Like obviously Maya Yoshida's a tall guy, but maybe you don't expect him to go up like so high up in the air or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you don't expect him to dunk on on Brian White or anything like that, you know? So it'd be like, I don't know. It's just like I don't know if that could be possibly another thing too. And also, like you said, like, I mean, Diego Fagundes covering him is just like, come on, man. Like, I mean, Diego Fagundes is not one of the tallest players on the team. So it's like, I don't know if you want him to be covering, you know, someone that's like Brian White on that corner. So I don't know. I mean, it could be a mixture of a lot of things, but yeah, I mean, it's a serious issue, and it could be the difference maker between, like, you know, possibly losing. And like, I mean, if you think about it, 2022, when we got eliminated, right? What was the elimination goal? It was off a set piece. It was off a corner, right? So it's like, that could be another situation where you can lose. Let's say this team does go into the playoffs. That could be the reason why you lose, is because you don't, you know, fix your set piece defending. So it's like, I don't know. Like, again, it's going to be a recurring theme. I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if it happens next week or any other time soon, but it's just like, at some point we just got to fix it. And I mean, again, I don't know what it is, but you know, somehow we just got to fix it.
Yeah, I was just imagining Maya Yoshida jumping over 2 people. That would be the funniest thing ever. That would make for such a funny image in the first place. But yeah, but honestly though, like, I don't think our problem right now is the height and physicality. Like, yes, that's definitely a problem on set pieces, but I just think overall our communication was really bad. Like, we both said it, like, how is Diego Fagundes on Brian White, who led the league in headed goals last year? Like, how is that happening? How is Maya Yoshida not on him? You know, why aren't we figuring this out? I mean, that matchup alone is just kind of embarrassing that happened. And of course they're going to score on it. There's such a big advantage there. I mean, just things like that. It's communication things like that just really cannot be happening. And everyone says it, like, yeah, we need to figure it out. Yeah, we need to get it together. And they do. Honestly, they do. They need to get it together soon. Because every game, teams are going to get set pieces. They're not going anywhere, unfortunately. So we just have to really, you know, if our physicality is not there, at the very least, we have to get our communication better, which is something we can control.
Yeah, definitely. We can't control that. You know, it's the little things that you got to do right. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't good communication on there. Like, again, you know, whoever the leader is in that back line, whether it's Yoshida, McCarthy or Yoshida, yeah, whichever one's, like, someone's got to get it, you know, got to get it right. But, you know, hopefully that fixes up soon. And, you know, because again, that was our 8th set piece goal this year?
7th
so far this year. 7th one. So it's like, you know, that's you're almost averaging, you know, a set piece goal a game. So it's like, you know, not a good thing to see for the Galaxy, but, you know, got to fix it, got to find out what we got to do on that side. But yeah, I mean, but other than that, you know, that was one, I guess, negative thing about the game. Was there any other negatives you think you'd see from this game? Obviously, you know, there's always some positive and negatives no matter, you know, what the result is, but do you think there's anything else that the Galaxy should have done better in this game?
Not really, honestly, right? Like, even from open play, again, the defense was really good. It didn't look like they were that threatening, Vancouver, besides for that one chance over the top. And the offense scored 3 goals. So if the defense, for the most part, is defending really well and the offense scored 3 goals, there's really not much negatives to talk about, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, there wasn't really that much. I mean, I guess there was that one point where McCarthy almost, like, gave up a goal, but he ended up saving that. That was, I guess, another negative. Don't get too confident in the back, but you know, things happen, I guess, and he ended up saving it, so you can't really be too mad about it. But yeah, I mean, when you look at this result, like, you don't really see that much negatives other than, you know, the set pieces. But Yeah, I mean the Galaxy went in. They again going away at you know to Vancouver. I mean, just in general with the schedule that we've had, having to go away a lot. It's like we've been getting some results, and that's a good thing to see from the Galaxy. And I think again, like when you think about it, it's just like we've only had 3 home games, and I think my brother even told me like we had a conversation. He was like, "Does the Galaxy have like the hardest schedule like opening the season?" I'm like, I don't know the exact answer to that, but I guarantee you it's probably one of the hardest. Like, I mean, to play, that many away games so early on and still getting results. Like, I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, and I think that's a big thing for the Galaxy.
Yeah, we talked about needle movers too. For me, this was another needle mover like that Kansas City game was. Like we wanted to see how we would respond after a loss, and obviously we responded really well. We responded against the number 1 team at the time, going into their place, really controlling the game early on, keeping a lot of possession. Even when we didn't score in the first half, I just felt like our attack was playing with a purpose. There was more movements, more people were getting involved. I saw the potential going there. And then to go and score 3 goals in the second half, score 2 goals in 3 minutes, and only concede 1 goal the entire game just off a set piece, not even from open play. Very impressive after a loss to go score 2 goals after conceding a tying set piece equalizer and not, get yourself down or lose focus. Again, something really good. You talk about these sort of signs that we want to see. These are very positive signs that are coming across us so far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. And especially like, again, we talked about the emotional part about it. And it's just like, usually whenever a loss happens, it's like, it usually kind of trickles down even more, right? Like, oh, we'll probably get like a tie and maybe it'll be a couple weeks so we get back into the winning ways. But then they go in here and show, have a good performance, get a lot of goals. And, that's tough. And that's a great way to show some resilience with this team. Like this team is showing a lot of things that we haven't seen in a while, or like, just the amount of things that they're doing here. And I think that's what makes this team so, I guess like so good to watch. But I mean, I guess the optimism with it, right? It's the fact that, that's how like seeing these things makes this team, a lot more, shoot, I'm like mixing myself up. But point is, like, you feel a lot more optimistic about it. And the good thing about it too is that like this team could still be better. Like this team still has more potential to break. And this is just the beginning. So it's like, obviously there's a lot of things going on in the season. There's, obviously there's still a lot of games left. We got to see what happens. But at least so far, it's like they're doing a lot. There's a lot of little tests early on in the season. And right now they're I guess you can say they're passing those little tests in the beginning. Yeah. But anyways, do you have any other thoughts, or should we move into the players?
Outstanding result for sure. A very good result. Very happy with it. And yeah, I mean, the Galaxy should definitely be impressed by it, and we should move forward with it and keep building off it.
Definitely for sure. But let's talk about the individual players in this performance. Let's start with the defense. Of course, John McCarthy at goal. I mean, your usual defense, John McCarthy at goal. Right back, Mickey Yamane. Your 2 center backs, Maya Yoshida, Martin Cáceres is back. And then you had Julian Aude in this defense. Again, run of play defense was still great. Set piece still got work. But how'd you feel about the defense so far in this game, and what were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, similar story to most weeks, right? Like from open play, we played really good, and I think we defended really well. Off a set piece, again, we concede. We always talk about that needs to get better, but like that's a good sign from open play that we're playing really well. I think the center backs are both really good. Obviously, having Cáceres back was, a major upgrade over Sadio, respectfully. Like he's a natural center back, so we definitely needed that. Julian Aude, again, it was a very positive sign to see that he built off El Tráfico. We always talked about him. He has some good moments. He has some inconsistencies, but to see another really good game after El Tráfico where he played well, that was really good. And Yamane did a great job as well. John McCarthy made some good saves to keep us in the match. I think he had like 7 saves, so that was really good. The fact that he's still keeping form overall for the defense, a really good game. Very impressed with them. Just got to get those set pieces right, and then we should be good, hopefully, going forward.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And yeah, Julian Aude was probably, again, my big standout because, again, we're talking about like now we got to see this guy perform well consistently. And now in back-to-back games, you got to see him perform well. And again, I think it's just a matter of just trying to build him in, try to get more of those reps in, try to get more of those minutes, and eventually he'll get there, Like, I mean, that's always the situation with young players. I mean, we saw it last year with Caligari, where in the beginning wasn't that great, but then towards the middle of the season and to his injury, like you got to see him play a lot better. So, I mean, hopefully that's just the situation where Aude is just a matter of the more progressing with more games, he gets a lot better, gets to know the league more. And then, yeah, I mean, again, another good performance out of him. Again, center backs were good. Great to have Martin Cáceres, John McCarthy getting those saves and the most crucial saves. So, I mean, that's another thing, too, with John McCarthy. He's just been so good with all those saves and just being that, again, one of those leaders in the back line where last year we were even saying, like, who's going to be that leader? Who's that guy? And, again, although Maya Yoshida is the captain, is the leader, it's good to have John McCarthy be that even like, I guess, that second leader in that back line. So it's good to see that as well. And yeah, of course, Mickey Amana doing his thing. He was great in this game as well. And yeah, I mean, the defense, again, just run of play, just great. Probably, like, I mean, if you want to cut, like, those set pieces goals, like, I mean, it's probably like one of the, I don't know the exactly the numbers, I guess, but like, it's just probably one of the better defenses in the league, right? Like, I mean, we've talked about, like, we just need, like, at least a solid, defense, and this team would be good. Like, I mean, how would you rate it? Like, despite the set pieces goals, like, would you rate the defense, like, I guess, early on in the season so far?
It's been good, but I still question the sustainability of it. Like, you look at the center backs, obviously both of them are really old. I question Cáceres even more because he's more of a physical player and his body's starting to wear down. I question John McCarthy too still. Like, yes, he's been great early on, but we saw with LAFC too, like, at the beginning of last year for the first half of the season, he was also great, but then kind of fell off after a while, eventually leading to Crepo getting his job back. So I still question the sustainability of it, but yeah, up to this point, it's definitely been really good. Obviously, we're getting options back too. Neil is back on the field right now with Ventura County, which is a lot quicker than I thought he'd be back. Garces is traveling to LA in a few days. Zavaleta should be back from his concussion protocol. So we're getting options back at least, which is really good. And the defense has been very solid outside of set pieces to start off with. But there's still a little bit of questions. Like, I don't think it's secure for the whole year. And there's some sustainability questions. But overall, from what I'm watching right now, I've been very happy with it. And yeah, that's what we've needed. We said, like, we believed in the midfield a lot because it's shown it can be good before. We believed in these attacking players because we spend a lot of money on it. And we know the qualities they possess. But defensively was always the question. And so far, they've definitely held it up.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. In fact, we said that, like, preseason. We're like, hey, I don't know if this defense is going to be that good, which, again, like, I guess they can be better. But, they've been playing very well, at least for this early start of the season. And yeah, sustainability is going to be the big question. And, because obviously there's going to be that the dog days in the summer, obviously Leagues Cup in August, where that's going to be where you got to rotate a lot of players. So it's like, there's still a lot of things to definitely see, but I guess that's just what we got to see. It's like, down the line is how this team will be, in those tough middle of the season and towards the end of the season, But yeah, I mean, overall in this game, defense played very well. And yeah, I mean, again, just the set pieces you got to fix up on. Let's go into the midfield. Of course, you had Ricky Puig, you had Gaston Brugman and Mark Delgado in this midfield. How'd you feel about the midfield in this game, and what were your thoughts?
Yeah, again, the midfield was really good too. I think Brugman was really good. You see what he possesses, the way he's able to control the ball, the way we were playing out of the back. He did a really good job. Delgado was good like usual. He brought a lot of energy to the game, really put in a lot of effort and hard work like he usually does. And Ricky Puig, I mean, that was great to watch. It was definitely very good to see him have a bounce-back game after a disappointing LAFC game and kind of a disappointing Seattle game, even though the field and played a factor into that one. But still, like, it was definitely very good to see him have a bounce-back game. Easily the standout for everybody. That second pass to Joseph Pansel was just incredible. It's one of those that really caught everybody off guard. Kind of remind me of the one he did versus New England in 2022 where, he's in a good position, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't really think there's much of a threat going on. And then he pulls off one of those passes like that. You're just like, wow, I mean, all right then, thank you for that because like not a lot of players in this league could make that pass. And then even crazier, he does it a second time with Joseph Pansel. The same connection happens again, and then it combines for the third goal. And overall, Ricky Puig was just really dangerous. He also found Gabriel Peck a lot, which I really liked. Gabriel Peck had a really good match too, which we'll talk about for the offense. But overall, the way Ricky Puig was playing, it was really good. And we talked about it against Vancouver a lot. He's always struggled against Vancouver, partly because I think Vancouver was one of those teams that would just kind of jam-pack the middle and not allow us to, completely play out wide and whatever. It just wouldn't trust our wingers. But now that we have more threatening wingers, you can definitely see the quality that he can even possess with more space on the field and more pace.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure, because it's like, like obviously the midfield just in general played very well. Gaston, being back and healthy is great to see. And, he's been a big contributor once he got back in. Mark Delgado's been playing fantastic as well. And then, yeah, Ricky Puig, again, I just don't understand how people questioned him after that LAFC game, or at least after those couple games in like Seattle, like you said, and LAFC. But it's like, I don't understand how people try to question him. It's like, I get it. Like, can Ricky Puig sometimes play a little bit better? Can he not always play hero ball in instances like that? Like, yes, of course, I get those criticisms by Ricky Puig, but like the minute you start questioning, like, hey, is this guy like, the player that we think he is, or is this guy really, like he hasn't been playing at a DP caliber, expectation. And it's just like, well, it's like these moments and the way he performs in this like manner and how he just turns it up is just like, it's great to see. It's amazing to watch. And it's just, again, it's like, I don't understand how you can give him the slander. I get the criticism sometimes, but it's not always just about like, I don't know. It's just like, there's going to be those games where you're not going to have good games. But I mean, again, Ricky Puig is the MVP of this team. He is the guy that they're building around. And at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's like, if there was no Ricky Puig in this team, can this team be as effective as they are right now? Like, I don't think they would be. So it's like, yeah, Ricky Puig, the way he bounced back in this game was great. Again, just like what he did in this game was just phenomenal. And again, I don't understand how people question it. That's just my biggest thing. Like, after that performance, like, how can you question that man? Like, really?
I have one thing to say though, which is kind of funny. Like, doesn't the Ricky Puig to Joseph Pansel sequence kind of remind you of the Ricky Puig to Joveljic sequence in Kansas City, where Ricky Puig slipped in Joveljic, it was called offside. Okay, that was a warning sign for Kansas City. But then Ricky Puig slipped in Joveljic again, and this time it was onside for the tying goal, and it was 2-2. And we were kind of just like, sort of questioning Kansas City in a sense, like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, how do you not get a warning sign after the first time to not let this happen again? Where you can get that to a similar time this time too, around when, Ricky Puig played in Joseph Pansel that led to the second goal for the Galaxy. And if you're Vancouver, surely at that point you'd be like, okay, no matter what happens from here, we cannot let this connection happen again. We cannot let these two guys find each other again. We really got to close off that side of the field. But then like 2 minutes later, again, kind of similar to Kansas City, and this time our first goal did count. Ricky Puig plays Joseph Pansel again, and then Joseph Pansel gets a great cutback ball to Fagundes. He scores. You'd almost like question Vancouver again, like, hey, like, since this just happened to you and you just went behind the match again, how could you let this happen again? The same two players connect like that. Like, I get it. It's hard to stop, especially with the pace Joseph Pansel has and the passing ability Ricky Puig has. But still, like, you'd almost question, like, wow, they really allowed the same play to happen twice. That really is just kind of like, that's really good. And credit to us for going back to it, recognizing an advantage we had, and it just worked out well. And that partnership and that advantage is the reason why we got 3 points from this match, because like, if we didn't have Joseph Pansel or Gabriel Peck, like we've seen in other games versus Vancouver, we might have not come out victorious, but the Galaxy, recognized the matchup they had and really used it to the fullest extent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing about, I mean, I guess when you look back at the LFC game, we were talking about like how they weren't really playing through the middle, and when they tried to, they were really forcing it. And there's just those moments where like, in that LAFC game where Joseph Paintsel was just still making those runs. And I think Ricky Puig realizes like, hey, like this guy's going to keep making the same thing. Like no matter if it's in the beginning of the game or in the 80th or 90th minute, it's like he's always going to be there and try to make those runs for you. And that's what makes Joseph Paintsel such a great, like just a great addition to this team. It's like that speed and the way he just passes through defenders is just crazy too. And the fact that Ricky Puig just has that type of weapon where he can just send in a random through ball. It doesn't even have to be close to Joseph Paintsel. So Joseph Paintsel will find a way to get it. And I think you even saw that in, I think, the third goal. It's like, it wasn't even really that close to Joseph Paintsel, and he still managed to get the ball, and you got that third goal. And it's like, it's so crazy to see. And again, we'll talk about the offense. I guess we're kind of just talking about Joseph Paintsel already. But Joseph Paintsel, again, just an absolute weapon and what he brings to the table for this Galaxy team.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess with that, we can transition into the offense a little bit. So, of course, you did have Joseph Paintsel starting. You had Gabriel Peck and Dejan Joveljic. Again, a productive day for the offense, and as well as with Diego Fagundes getting a goal coming in as a sub. But yeah, how'd you feel about the offense, and what were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, definitely very good about the offense. Even in the first half, like I said before, when it was 0-0, I saw the potential. I saw what they were doing. I was very happy with the way they were playing the ball. I knew chances were coming. I saw what they were trying to do, and I was very happy with it. And the second half, yeah, we saw those goals, we saw those chances, and that was really good to see throughout that whole half. Jovic, wasn't that effective a lot of the match, but hey, as a striker, your job's to put the ball in the back of the net. The chance came to him, he hit it cleanly, and then he scored. So you're happy with Jovic, you're happy he got his goal. That's really good for him too. You want to see our striker score. Gabriel Peck, didn't have a goal or an assist, but again, very lively. I was very impressed with him. He was getting on the ball, he was taking players on 1v1, he was moving a lot, he was putting in a lot of effort. Again, I was very happy with the way he played. I think he played very well. Even if the stats weren't there, I still think he had a really big impact on the match. Then Joseph Pencil, another player that played really well, but did have the stats to back it up. A goal and an assist, the way he was running just nonstop. Even when we were up 3-1, there were some times where Joseph Pencil was getting in behind. You could have thought we could have got the fourth, but then Vancouver's goalkeeper realized, like, oh shit, I better come out and, stop these and come off my line. And eventually he did, and we didn't end up getting the fourth goal. But still, Joseph Pencil was just so lively all game. Our attack, really, our two wingers, just so much energy, so much life into this team, really brought a lot, just a weapon all game, something we didn't have versus Vancouver in the past, and just completely changed how the game went for us on both sides. It was just very good to watch, a very good offensive performance, everyone was utilized very well, and I was very happy with what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Of course, I already went off on Joseph Painstill and just saying how much of a weapon he was. But, I mean, yeah, for Gabriel Peck, I'll start off with him. It's like, yeah, I mean, Gabriel Peck, again, it's not like he's not on the stat sheet as much, but he definitely gives you that effort. He definitely gives you that, like that contribution. Like even if he doesn't always get the goal or the assist, like you can tell he's always at least in the build up on some of those goals as well. It's like, I mean, in the first goal, he got that shot off, they blocked it. Dejan happened to be in the good spot. But yeah, I mean, Gabriel Peck is just a matter of, again, I think he'll find his way. Like, I know I don't think people are, nobody said anything about Gabriel Peck yet, but like, I guess at least like if people are kind of worrying about it, it's just like, he'll get his time. Like, I think he's still contributing, but like, slowly but surely he'll get, he'll be on that stat sheet more often. He'll get the goal, he'll get the assist, but yeah, definitely for sure. He's, that guy who's just always going to give you that energy and 100%. For Dejan, I mean, yeah, like he got that tap in goal, which is good. Like, I mean, I hate it when people think like, oh yeah, like he's a tap in merchant or whatever. It's like, I don't care if you're a tap in merchant or you score from outside the box. If you're scoring, you're scoring. So, I mean, Dejan, although he only had 2 touches in the box that whole game, one of them was a goal. So can't be too mad about it. And yeah, I mean, Dejan just getting that 6th goal of the season, already tying what he had last season, should give him more confidence, should give him that energy to even perform better. So yeah, he's already having a good start to the season. And yeah, I mean, of course, I already talked about Joseph Painstill, just a weapon. And yeah, I mean, again, offense was great in this one, got the production. I guess, again, Diego Fagundes being a sub in that one probably was the most effective, I guess, in a sense, the most effective sub because he got that 3rd goal. But yeah, I mean, Diego Fagundes, again, getting his 70th goal, actually, as well. 70th goal, and I think he has 70 assists in his, MLS career. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Like, I think he's like in like a little class. Like, I don't know about elite, but like at least in a small class where like, he, with those stats, like he's in a good position. So, yeah, I mean, of course, Diego Fagundes, getting that 3rd goal. Congrats to him to getting that 70th goal, career goal. So yeah, I mean, again, offense was pretty good. I guess in the sense of the subs, I mean, how'd you feel about that as well? Unless you had another point on the offense before we moved on.
Yeah, I had one more point about the offense, and it's a question I would ask you. Are you surprised Vancouver didn't really switch on to the Ricky Puig-Joseph Painstill connection? After they got that 2nd goal, the fact that they allowed a through ball to go to Joseph Painstill again, it's kind of similar to that Kansas City game. Like, you're surprised Kansas City didn't, recognize the threat that Ricky Puig and Dejan Jovic were having that match. Are you kind of surprised that Vancouver didn't eventually switch on with Ricky Puig and Joseph Painstill, especially after that 2nd goal?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty surprising, but I mean, is it, I mean, I guess this would be kind of like a question back. It's just like, what is it more of just Vancouver not shifting that, or is it just the fact that Joseph Painstill is just that good at getting behind those defenses?
Honestly, both.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say it's both. Like, like you should be able to, like, once that happens once, like you should be able to, say like, hey, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep going on that side, but but also it's just Joseph Painstill is just that good. Like he's just the way he just gets back. It's kind of memorizing in a sense. And again, I think in that third goal, that's where I was just like, damn, he wasn't even close to that ball, and he still managed to get it. Like I mean, it's kind of crazy to see, but yeah, I mean, I think it would be a mixture of both, but. Yeah, I mean, Joseph Painstill is just a weapon, dude. Like, and it's kind of crazy to think because, like, in preseason, we were talking about, like, oh, how is Joseph Painstill coming into the Galaxy? What is going to be his motivation or his mindset? And we were kind of questioning about him a little bit, but I mean, I don't think we're questioning him now. It's like, I mean, he's just that great. Like, I mean, it's great. It's good to see.
Yeah, I would not like to get in a track race with Joseph Painstill. That would not go too well for me.
Ugh, I mean, oh, well, then again, I like, me being a former track athlete, I wasn't a sprinter anyway, so I don't think I'd challenge him in a sprint anyways. I wouldn't want to challenge that. That's too crazy.
Of course,
yeah. I would actually want to, that'd be actually kind of interesting though, to see what his time would be in like an 100-meter or something. Like, I think he'd probably do pretty good, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if he'd ever be down to do that, I guess, but it's just crazy to see the speed that he has.
Versus you or something or what?
Not versus me. Definitely not. He's going to smoke me. No, there's no way. Like, again, this is why I was a distance runner. I was no way. Sprints is crazy, man. Like, you got to have good acceleration. You got to have the good jumps, good jump off the blocks and everything like that. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy, but I'm pretty sure if Joseph Painstill did 100-meter, he would probably compete in it like very well. But
yeah, I mean, I was about to say he's one to do it for sure. I mean, this guy is a sprinter. 90 minutes too, like this guy does not get tired. Like when I saw him sprinting at like the 92nd minute off of Ricky Pooch through ball, I was like, God damn, isn't this guy tired? But hey, I guess not. And he keeps himself in great shape, a great runner. That's something we could definitely use on this team.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, the speed's crazy, definitely. Maybe he'd be better in the 200 since it's longer, but I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked because of all the track lingo, but yeah, of course, he's just an absolute weapon. But I guess let's talk about the subs a little bit. How'd you feel about the subs? Of course, Diego Fagundes got his goal. We already talked about that, but I guess how'd you feel about the other subs that came in?
Yeah, Edwin Cedillo for Brugman, again, was a great sub. Like, Brugman is still working his way back to fitness. He's not maybe 90 minutes fit yet, even though he's pretty close. But again, the fact that you can bring a guy like Cedillo off the bench who knows the league, who started on winning teams before, is really a great position to be in, and I think he did a really good job. The Diego Fagundes sub was really good. I think that was a smart sub to make too at that time. The only sub I didn't like was Miguel Berry coming on for Joveljic, because you know how I am on Miguel Berry. Now, not exactly too high on him, and he hasn't been contributing that much anyway, so I'm like, why take off Joveljic after he scored? But if you're going to get some fresh legs on there, I mean, I guess. But other than that, I think the subs are pretty good. I was fairly happy with him. I think they were the correct decisions to make.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for the most part, yeah, they were good. Again, Miguel Berry, it's like, I kind of feel bad in a sense because I don't want to feel like we're trashing him, but it's just like, you don't really see much from Miguel Berry. He's just going to be that guy who's just going to get those minutes, and hopefully he contributes at some point. But he's just there, I guess. But yeah, Diego Fagundes was the best sub. Did Daniel Aguirre go in this game? I think he did, right?
I think Cuevas went on. I don't think Aguirre went on. I'm not sure, but I know Cuevas did go on.
Oh, okay, so he went on because wait, is he still 37? I think he was 37, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I think he did go on, which I guess was another sub. Which again, Daniel Aguirre in the situations is also like, we've always said like he's that guy who's gonna go in there for the win, just kind of be the guy to like be the contain the game, control the game. So I guess that wasn't a bad sub either. But yeah, I mean the sub decisions were good, nothing too bad. Nothing questionable, I guess, in this game. But yeah, I mean overall, yeah, great game, great bounce back win for the Galaxy. I mean 3-1. I don't think anybody really expected that after a rivalry game loss. I mean, did you expected like at least a win in that magnitude, or would you kind of expect at least going into that game?
That's so tough because I was kind of up in the air, right? Like I felt like we did have some sort of advantages on the field. Like I kind of did believe in our wingers. I did believe in Ricky Pooch to bounce back. But at the same time, I understood we're not very good in Vancouver. Vancouver is a really good team. But at the same time, I also knew that Vancouver usually doesn't string together consistent results in a row. So I was like, a result is possible. Like I thought a result was possible. I didn't know if it was a win or a draw. I thought we could have also lost, but like I had a good level of confidence going into this game. Like, hey, we can get something out of it. And even getting something out of it, I think would have been a good result. But obviously, especially with that second half, we really played well. And it definitely exceeded my expectations for sure, the way we controlled the game and the amount of chances that we were able to create. I mean, that was definitely a really good game for us. And like I think we said, it was kind of a needle mover, right? We wanted to see how this team would respond after their first loss of the season. You get a performance like that, you're definitely very happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, again, I don't think I expected a 3-1 win, definitely for sure, because I've always think that Vancouver is just one of those tough places to play, and it has been for the Galaxy. I think this is their first win since 2019 in Vancouver.
I mean,
So,
to be fair, we only played there twice because of COVID, right? And only
well,
2022 and 2023. But still, I mean, yeah, it's not an easy place in general.
yeah, I mean, still though, like, yeah, I guess that COVID year because it was in Salt Lake, or yeah, they were playing in Salt Lake if I remember correctly for the
And
COVID year,
Portland.
and Portland, yeah. So yeah, of course, but still though, regardless, Vancouver's not that it's not an easy place to play, and again, to get that first win since 2019 is a good thing too. So that's another thing you could say the Galaxy haven't done in a while. So yeah, I mean, again, the resilience is good for the team, and yeah, I mean, hopefully it keeps up, especially going into this next game, right? So yeah, I mean, definitely a good bounce back win, and yeah, let's just hope for the best for for this week coming in. Any other thoughts you want to say about the game before we move on?
Yeah, one more thing I would say is, doesn't it just feel like it was just a great team performance? Like, you just look at everybody and you say, like, everybody played well. The defense from open play was great. Even on set pieces, they defended 9 set pieces, but they conceded 10. So, for the most part, they did a good job. They just let one slip up, and that slip up can't happen. But still, for the most part, the defense through the whole match did a really good job. You like what the midfield did. The midfield really controlled the game. They really kept the ball a lot. They played with a purpose. The attack made the right ones. Joveljic was clinical. Paintsel was a threat all night. Peck brought the energy. It just feels like top to bottom. McCarthy made the saves too. I can't forget the goalkeeper. It just feels like top to bottom. This was a great team performance, right? Like, it felt like everybody did good. This was a collective team effort, and you're very happy about that. I don't know if you'd agree, but that's how I felt about it.
No, I agree completely. Like, I mean, this was a great team win. Like, everybody had a contributed in some way or another. So it's like, and again, and you look at the subs too. It's like the subs weren't that bad. So it's like, yeah, this is a great team win, and that's a good thing to see, right? It's like, and we talked about Ricky Pooge playing hero ball and stuff like that. Like, it's not the fact that he plays it all the time, but it's the fact that it's just like now you have a team where you don't really have to do that. Like, everybody's going to contribute some way or the other, and this was a good example of why this team can do more. It's not just Ricky Pooch. It's not just on one player. It's everybody who's contributing, and that's something again we haven't seen in a while. And we're not relying on just one player. Everybody's contributing, and I think that's just a great thing to see. And this isn't the only great team performance we have. We've already had other good ones as well. So it's like, yeah, I mean, of course, I think the chemistry between everybody has been great this season, and I think hopefully that keeps up, and that chemistry doesn't break at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have one more point too. Like, didn't it feel very refreshing just to have all these bounce back performances? Like, the offense, the last 2 games, like we even said, it was a little bit stale. Seattle, yes, we won, but it felt kind of, a little bit dry, a little bit boring. LAFC, we lost, and the LAFC played that low block, and, the penalty call changed everything the way they played, but still, our offense was kind of a little bit flat and boring. It just felt like this game, we needed this. We kind of needed this life into us. Joveljic got his goal again. That was really good. We want to see Joveljic continue to score. Paintsel was a little quiet these last 2 games. Okay, he has a really good game. He's back flowing in confidence. Ricky Puig, another guy, we talk about it. He's the best player on our team, the face of our team. He has a really good game like that after a little bit of a disappointing last 2 games. That's really good. You saw the offense connecting a little bit more. That sort of isolated staleness I was talking about against Seattle and LAFC. We didn't see that even in the first half. I thought, the potential was there. We were getting involved. In the second half, the same thing happened. We got the goals to pay off. It just felt like, it was really good to see everybody get involved, and, the chances we created, the possession we had lead to a purpose eventually, which was really good to see.
Yeah, and again, I say this word a lot, but it's the resilience, right? It's the resilience that this team is just showing overall, and the emotion, and just and they're not too emotional, right? Again,
there's more maturity, I'd say.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more maturity. That's something definitely for sure, because especially with some of these players now that it's not all new players, and especially when you look at the the leaders in this team, and I guess you can say, I mean, you look at, again, Ricky Puig, this is his 3rd season. He's already been in MLS for a while, knows how this thing goes. He's, I guess you can say, a leader or an experienced player now. And just in general in that midfield, you look at it too. You have Mark Delgado, who's just been MLS experience overall. Gaston has had a good career. I mean, everybody's mature in some way. Even the young players, right? Even the young players are getting a more mature. We're talking about how he's contributing now, and how he's playing a lot better. It's the young players, it's the veterans, it's everybody, right? That's just having this maturity around them. They know what the what the expectation is now, or they're setting up a bigger expectation than I guess a lot of people thought that we were thinking, right? Because I mean, we talked about this before. We didn't think that the Galaxy were going to have this start, and this team is saying like, hey, like let's just over exceed everybody's expectations. Like let's try to be better than what people thought they were. And I think you see that with this team again, the resilience with this team, the maturity. And yeah, I mean, again, it's a good thing to see. It's definitely night and day from what we saw last season. And I think that's what, again, that's where the optimism comes in, is that everybody sees these changes and, it's good to see.
Yeah, definitely a key word, balance, right? Like we talked about that word a lot. We like a balanced team, a team that works well together, a team that's strong in many different areas, a team that has many different ways to win, a team that has depth like Diego Fagundes and Cedillo. We really like that balance. We really like having options, and there's still room to get better, right? The transfer window has another week. We still have the summer window. We still have a good amount of cap space. So we just want to continue to grow and continue to get better, right? And hopefully we get to a good end goal.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And, yeah, I mean, again, that's the optimism, right? It's just like, this team is good now, but they can get so much better. Like they really can. And that's where I think a lot of people will be. That's where I think a lot of people will just be like over the moon with this team if they get even better than what they are now. And hopefully they do get there. I mean, but point is for this team, it's just like, yeah, that's just the optimistic part, is that like, this team could be so much better. And it, hopefully we get to see that. And it's just, this team turns it up to another level. But, yeah, of course, again, it's a great team win. It's definitely a good win for sure. And, hopefully, again, another important matchup going up against a rival this week. So, let's see how they do there. But, yeah, that was Vancouver, I guess, 3-1 win, good team win overall. And, yeah, I mean, again, let's just move forward on this one. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some Galaxy news before we get into our preview of San Jose. There has been a Garceres update, which was initially we were getting a loan deal where he was going to come in for the rest of the season and with an option to buy. Apparently that's changed completely. We have now bought Garceres now from Deportivo Pereira, which is on a 5-year contract. So people have reported a 5-year contract. Again, a young defender. I believe he's 22 years old, if I'm correct. But again, a young defender, having more depth in that center back position. And of course, we talked about how good this was, addition wise as a loan. But now that we've actually bought him, like, how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts about the whole, I guess, the fact that the Galaxy just kind of changed it into a purchase now?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those we have to wait and see how he plays, right? We haven't seen him play a game yet. We haven't seen how his game adapts to MLS. So it's one of those we have to wait and see how he is. But what I will say is I do trust Will Kuntz a lot. I don't think he's the type of guy to make a transfer out of league for no reason if it wasn't going to make a big impact. I don't think he's the type of general manager to give out 5-year contracts if he didn't believe in a player. I mean, we saw this with Aude too. We brought him in. He was an Argentinian youth international. He played at the Argentinian top flight. So we think that's a good addition. This is Aude's first full year in the league. And, we're seeing some good signs. It's a 5-year process. There's going to be some ups and downs, but we're seeing some good signs. That's kind of what we're hoping for with Garceres too. Like Garceres was a Colombian youth international where, yeah, maybe not the same level as Argentina, but Colombia is still a good national team. They've had some good success in the past. So the fact that he's in that program, is a good sign for him. He's playing the Colombian top flight, which again, probably not the level of Argentina like Julian Aude, but still, some good signs. And the good thing is he's not on a U22 DP contract, so he's maybe a little less than Aude with the way we're rating him, but still, like, it's a project for us. I trust Will Kuntz. I trust the players he wants to get. From the highlights I've seen, and I told you I watched the highlights, he's a really good ball-playing center back. And the Galaxy, they like to keep the ball out. They like to be clean with the ball, like we saw with the addition of Yamane. He's very clean with the ball. So if you can have a defense that's really good with the ball at their feet, and definitely the spot next to Yoshida is definitely very questionable still. So I still think it's a good addition. We got to see what he brings. But, if they make it a 5-year contract and immediately not to make it a loan, that means, we must believe in him. So we got to see what he has to offer. But if Will Kuntz believes in him, I think, right now there's reason to be optimistic.
Yeah, definitely. And, it kind of interested, like, it was kind of a little bit of a surprise that they did switch it up. But because, again, we haven't seen what, he has to offer. Again, you can look at the tape, you can look at everything. And, yeah, he has good footage, good tape on him, right? But at the end of the day, it's like we got to see what he has to offer. But I just found it interesting that they just switched it up. And I don't know if it was probably maybe like a, like the way that Caligari went as well, because obviously when you look at Caligari, he was also alone with an option to buy. There was one point where the Galaxy were going to buy him, like that was going to be, an off-season move, and then it didn't happen because of possibly the injury that probably swayed the negotiations and things like that. So I don't know if it was just to avoid a situation like that as well. That could possibly be why they did this 5-year contract, or switched it to a 5-year contract and buying him. But I don't know. But I mean, I still like it. I think it's a good addition, and hopefully it is an impactful addition when he comes in. But which is another thing as well. I don't know when he's supposed to come in. I know you said that he comes in. He's possibly traveling to LA in a few days. I don't know exactly if that's true or not. I don't know where you heard it, but like at this point, we got to see where his visa process and things like that as well. So, hopefully he comes in soon, but yeah, definitely for sure. It's a great addition for the Galaxy. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was some or at least a little bit of Galaxy news. I did want to talk about Ventura County a little bit because this week is actually Ventura County's, or I guess you can say G2, their last game at the track and field before they move into Ventura County, into Cal Lutheran. So that's also a game coming up this week. I believe it's on Saturday. It was scheduled for 7 p.m. They moved it for 1 p.m. So yeah, this is going to be the final game. Ventura County is going to play in the, Dignity Health Sports Park at the track. So that's another thing. A lot of people have been trying to, especially like Jalen Neal's mom, Sarah Neal, has been, saying like, hey, show up because, it's not every time that they play in a full stadium. This is going to be their last, game at the track and field stadium. But yeah, Ventura County, of course, they've been having a good start to the season, and yeah, their final game at the track. I don't know. I don't know how the turnout's going to be, but I'm going to try to go. I don't know if, obviously, like, Ventura County's been playing good, but yeah, their final game at the track before they go. So if anybody hasn't seen them play, at the track, I suggest go for it. It's not a bad experience. Plus, it's free. So you don't got to pay anything. Free parking, free admission. So, yeah, Ventura County's last game at the track. How do you feel about that? Because, obviously we've known G2 to play in that stadium, and it's going to be kind of weird now that they shift, somewhere else. But yeah, this is going to be their last game. Have you had any good memories? I don't know how many G2 games you've gone, but have you had any good memories at the track, when you gone to go see G2?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. They've always been fun games to go to. But like I said before, I think this identity change is a really good thing. I think it brings new life into the team and new motivation. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit unfortunate they're ending their time at the track. Obviously, they've been playing there for a lot of years now. I think well over a decade, right? I think they started in like 2014, 2015 about. So, they've had a good run at the track before. They've had some success, some ups and downs. But, it's good the team is having a new identity. But definitely at the track, if people are able to make it to go, it's definitely a good experience. And yeah, why not? Like you said it yourself, the game is free, parking is free. So if you can make it, definitely, you should go to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it, because when I saw 7 p.m., I was like, all right, like a night game, like let's do it. But then now they switched it to 1 p.m. It's like, ooh, like
isn't it Sunday? Maybe I think it might be Sunday.
It's Saturday. They do it Saturday because we obviously we have San Jose on Sunday, so I don't think they want to mix the games at the same time or anything like that. So it is Saturday though. But yeah, so for Ventura County, like, yeah, I'll try to make it. Hopefully I can. But if for those who have never been to a G2 game or anything like that, go for it. Yeah, the track has a pretty nice vibe to it. Like, I've been to a couple games as well. It kind of feels like a sort of like a high school or maybe even like college kind of vibe to it when you go to those games, and it's pretty cool. I know for like a couple times, like, you get to see who like the players' families are as well. Like, I remember there was one time I went to a game and like there was one section where it was just cheering for Johnny Perez. I'm like, oh, that's the Perez family. Like that's his family and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see, like, like, I guess, and plus it's like a, good view and things like that, close in person with the, the future possibly of the, of the Galaxy as well. Obviously we've had a lot of great, a lot of products come out from G2 and the Academy as well. So, one of those guys could be the future as well. So you never know. But yeah, if you guys can go to that game, go for it. If not, obviously support from home is good as well. I think it should be on, MLS Season Pass as well. So yeah, hopefully Ventura County wins this game, because they did lose their last game, which, hopefully we see a bounce back from them as well. But yeah, but anyways, that was some Galaxy news, and yeah, let's get right into our preview of the San Jose Earthquakes, which the 100th edition of the Cali Clasico will be played at home. Kind of fitting because the first one I think was in San Jose, was it Spartan Stadium, which is like in the field that they have at San Diego State or San Jose State University. My bad, they wouldn't play in San Diego. But point is, the 100th edition of the Cali Clasico. Last time we played them, we beat them 3-1. At their home at PayPal Park, and yeah, since then they've only won one game. So San Jose right now has not been, they've been pretty bad this season, to say the least. But I mean, how do you feel about going into this game? Obviously it's a rivalry game; anything could happen. But how do you feel about going up against San Jose at home?
Yeah, obviously a must-win game. Anything less than 3 points would be extremely disappointing. Obviously, I think both of these teams have had very different seasons so far. The Galaxy are in first place right now. San Jose is in last place right now. They've really struggled. We've done really well. But just because, we're in first place and San Jose is really struggling right now, that doesn't give us any less of a right to play hard or, prepare for this game like we prepare for any other game. Like, we still have to go and focus. We still have to do what we need to do. We still have to play with effort, intensity. This is a rivalry game after all. And it's even been shown before, like in 2022, I know San Jose didn't have a single win on the road all season. They were also in last place. And then guess what? At Dignity Health Sports Park, they were up 3-0 at halftime. So these things can happen, if we let our guard down, if we lose focus, if we make mistakes, especially off set pieces, that seems to happen every single week. It's MLS. Anything can happen, right? We got to, put in the effort, put in the shift, do a really good job. But coming at home against a really struggling San Jose team, we have to get 3 points, right? You really want these 3 points. We talk about it all the time. Building off results for the Galaxy is very important. This is obviously a really good opportunity against a team that has not been very good on the road in recent years either. Even last season when San Jose had a decent season, they made the 8-9 wildcard game. That was because they were really good at home. They were still really bad on the road in their, decent season. And just over the years, they have not been good on the road at all. We talk about Dignity Health Sports Park needing to be that fortress again, being a place where opponents don't want to come in, being a place where we need to be dominant, take maximum points from those games. It's a home game. So the Galaxy, they need to come in. They need to put in the effort. They need to stay concentrated. They need to do what they're capable of doing. We have the talent. We can do this. We can definitely, pick up a win. And I hope to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because, again, rivalry games, anything can happen. Like, I wouldn't let my guard down at all. And the Galaxy know that they shouldn't let their guard down at all, even if this team only has one win. You still want, and again, you still want to win at home. You still want to get those 3 points at home. Hopefully, again, you talked about being a fortress. Hopefully, it's a sellout. I know ACB, I heard they sold out their tickets for that game. So that place is going to be full, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, we just got to go get the win. I mean, last time we played them, we got to see a lot of great things from that game. Of course, we talked about San Jose giving up that space, which who knows if they're going to close up that spaces, but obviously if they give up that space, we know what we can do. We know what Joseph Painstill can do, obviously specifically. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, people are going to say that, we should win, which, yeah, we should win this game. But again, you never know because it's San Jose. It's a rivalry game. And yeah, anything can happen.
Too.
Yeah, definitely. It's happened before too. And, and I'm pretty sure San Jose, they're going into this game as one of their biggest games because obviously, they're going to want to beat against a rival and they're going to want to say like, hey, like the Galaxy are this good team, but who were their 2 losses against? A rival. So it's like, they're going to want to have those bragging rights as well, things like that. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what to expect from this game, but yeah, just hope we get those 3 points because that's the most important part, especially going up against a rival.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens with San Jose. Of course, again, the 100th edition of the Cali Clasico, which, I guess here's to the next 100 of those rivalry games. But yeah, I mean, of course, it should be a good one, hopefully. And yeah, I mean, let's go get it. Let's go get it for that game. But any other points you want to talk about for San Jose?
Yeah, of course. I'll just close out with, just because we're having a better season than them or San Jose season doesn't look great, it doesn't give us any less of a right to go out there and prepare a different way or compete at a different level. No, I mean, it's still an MLS team. It's still a team that actually has beaten us before in last place. Even a year ago, I mean, let's face it, we were probably that team they were right now. So, I mean, still, you got to recognize, the situation we're in, where we are right now. And you still got to raise the intensity. You still got to bring it like you would to any other game. You still got to stay focused. You still got to prepare. In training, you still have to put in the same amount of work. You still have to prepare prepare the same way. And if you prepare the same way and you have the players that we do and we make it work on the field, we can make good things happen like we've seen this season. But yeah, that intensity level and that focus level is still definitely a really big thing for me. And I definitely want to see it still. Like no matter who we're playing at any given week, whether that's home or away or the first place team or last place team, we got to bring it every single week.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And we got to bring it up against those guys because I still don't like those guys. But definitely for sure. In fact, their fucking ultras blocked me like a year ago. So, fuck those guys. Anyways, but yeah, we just hope for the best for this game. Definitely. Hopefully we get those 3 points. But yeah, I think that's going to close it out for the episode. Obviously, as you can tell, our lighting's a bit different. We kind of recorded a little later than we normally do, but I guess this was an episode after dark in a sense. But anyways, we're going to close this out because it is kind of late. We're both tired, and yeah, of course. If you want to follow me, go follow me at Insider Galaxy at IG on X. Go follow LA Galaxy Central on Instagram. And yeah, go follow us there, support us there. And anything you want to say to the listeners before we go?
No, let's get that home win, right? It's a big opportunity. Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And show out in this game, whether you're going to the game or at home. Let's show up and show out. So yeah, big game this weekend. And yeah, be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast, whenever you're listening to this podcast. We hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. And yeah, let's go get it. Thank you guys. G's up.
7 words.